overthinking, over explaining, and over hyperactivity. So these are three things that I personally struggle with when I'm going to talk about ADHD. 50 years old now, figured out I had ADHD, not from taking a test, but just, family member and stuff like that talked to me, and I finally seen it. I was like, why did I see this long time ago? Sometimes we need other people to reflect light on our situation. And sometimes we haven't been properly, maybe grew up in an environment where people even understood what was going on. I've always thought that people that claimed any type of label like that, it's like, oh, it's just your personality. Like, whatever. I seen kids get over medicated for stuff that, it ruined their personality. And I just had a whole distaste for it. I thought, oh, it's a lack of parenting skills, ADHD, attention deficit. Well, give your kids some attention. Come to find out, it's much deeper than that. But at the same time, people have a tendency of putting us in boxes. When we say, oh, do I have ADHD? Oh, this is who I am. So let me address something first and foremost. The box is a box. You can be in it or you can be outside of it and still acknowledge that you have ADHD. Okay? So when you actually say, okay, I have ADHD, do we go around saying that all the time? I have ADHD. This is why I act the way I do. This blah, blah, blah. No. Sometimes we need to do it for clarification so that maybe people would understand us a little bit better. But at the same time, we get stuck in these boxes and we say, oh, I have ADHD. This is the way I am. Listen, we can change, okay? We can change one step at a time. Cognitive therapy, talk therapy, a lot of different things can help with this. I'm not going to get into that into this video because I still have a lot to research and it's not going to all flow off the top of my head. In the right way. But one thing that I'm going to share today is a few different things that I've noticed in my own life that I have to work on. And I've noticed it coming up in my own life the last while. And I'm like, okay, there's something really deeper going on here. I know that I'm working through certain things within my nervous system and stuff like that, but there's something even deeper going on. And I come to find out that three things that I really struggle with is, one thing is overthinking. That is a big one. Come to find out, that is one of the characteristics of ADHD. Another thing is overthinking. Overthinking. Oh, just a second about that. Overthinking, number one. Over-explaining is number two. And then, of course, there is the good old-fashioned hyperactivity that tends to mask anxiety that's underneath. And what happens a lot of times when my anxiety is up or if my nervous system is up, I am wanting to fix stuff. I'm wanting to clear the air and fix. Overthink, 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 which makes situations worse in my own mind. And then trying to over-explain or trying to over-fix a situation is another issue that I have to work through. And so when I'm not able to do this, my anxiety goes up. And so learning to see these things and be able to work on them is a whole thing. So for me, if I get to a point where, look, I'm trying to clear the air here, let's fix something. If it's not fixable or if the other person is not ready, then I need to let it go. And sometimes when we're dealing with different nervous system situations and other things going on that we don't fully understand, we've just got to let things go. Is it easy? No. And that's where a lot of cognitive therapy techniques can come in. So learning to talk ourselves down and say, you know what, it's not that big of a deal. And you know what, you can't always fix it. It's like, well, it's so fixable. If someone would just hear me out and, try to understand what I'm going through. But you know what? Sometimes when our symptoms come up of over-explaining and over-analyzing and overthinking and over-trying, it just pushes people away. And what we've got to learn to do is trying to find our center and bring it back into the present moment and saying, okay, you need to calm down. But I want to fix. I want to clear the air. I want to make things right. I overreacted. I overdid this. I overdid that. I need them to understand that I'm not always like this. It's just I'm dealing with this, and this, all the stuff that's going on. And but the more you try to explain yourself sometimes, the deeper the hole you dig. I'm learning that firsthand. But I can even look at this and say, you know what? What is this in you that you have always had to try to explain yourself since you were little? What is that? Always wanting to over-explain, but never, when I was young, I never really got the chances to do it. So I stuffed everything in. Now that I'm getting older, all of this childhood stuff is coming up. And I'm wanting to explain. I'm wanting to fix. And sometimes that's great. It's going to work. But you know what? Other times, it's not. Sometimes people are going to see us in a certain light because they got to see us in moments when our anxiety was high, or when our symptoms of different things like ADHD symptoms were high, or going through other nervous system situations, trauma triggers. It could be a variety of things for different people that we're going through. But when we go through it, sometimes when people see us in those moments, and that's how they define us, they don't realize that outside of that we can be pretty level people. I know in my own life, when I'm struggling, when I'm really struggling, if there's that inner stuff that's coming up, there's a lot of wanting to fix, because I didn't get to do it growing up, and now I just want to, and I find that is where my freedom has always been, an ability to be able to communicate how I feel and say, okay, yes, I know I fucked up. Sorry, I know I messed up. I don't know if I can edit that out, but this is the point. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know I messed up. I know I was over emotional. I know that I over talked. I know I was over hyper. I know I overreacted. I know I did this. I know I did that. And I want to own it. And I want to fix it. But sometimes we just got to let it go. And then we'll have these moments where we say, yeah, I can let it go. I can let it go. And then something comes up that reminds you, this is unresolved. This needs to be fixed. I don't like stuff that's not fixed. I like to clear the air really bad. But we can't always clear the air. We can't. Sometimes the only air that we need to clear is what's going on up here. Clear the air in our own head. Clear the air in our own emotions. Clear the air of what's going on in here that is a deeper issue than what is actually happening in real time in the current situation. The current situation, it is not necessarily even what is really going on. What is really going on is an inner struggle that stems from childhood that was never resolved, and it's coming out in our system now, and we are wanting to fix it. We are wanting to fix it. But you know what? Sometimes we can't. And we've got to let it go. If someone is not ready to talk to you, or they don't want to talk to you, or maybe they're just done, let it go. You can't change other people. I can't change other people. I can't make someone hear me out. People have to be willing to hear, just like we need to be willing to let go when we need to let go. It is not always an easy lesson, but it's a lesson still. Why do we feel like we have to fix something? Why? We don't have to. Well, we want to fix here. We don't want tension. We don't want misunderstandings. We don't want miscommunication. We don't want a block, like every time I see this person, then there's this unresolved, and the longer it goes, the bigger it gets. And then it's like, we don't even know where to begin to fix it. Or, you get in all these loops. Let go of the loops. And as I'm saying this to you, I am saying this to me. And so one of the things I've been saying for a while also is wanting to be vulnerable. And this is part of my journey. And not everyone is going to like it. And here goes Michelle again. Another video. You know what? It's okay. For the couple people that it may help that listen to the videos and private message me later or comment below, or don't say anything, but it just helps them because, maybe they don't want to, they're not willing to say, okay, I'm struggling with this too, because some people are just on the silent journey, and sometimes just videos like this to let people know they're not alone. You're not alone. There's so many more people going through deeper struggles than you realize. But it's okay. We're gonna get through this if we continue to push forward and change our mindsets. It's not always gonna be easy, okay? Especially when the nervous system gets turned on. But sometimes just releasing and trying to get things out. If you can't talk to a person, write it out on paper. Now, I have a harder time with that because I have certain pain symptoms in my hand if I write too much. So sometimes I have to use cognitive therapy, talking out loud to myself. That helps me. Find out what works for you. Get the feelings out on paper. We don't always have to do it with a person. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Research cognitive therapy today, okay? I'm going to leave that for you as a tip. Research cognitive therapy and see how it works and start implementing it into your daily practice. Learn to calm things down. And I want you to know, even though my videos are not organized, because that's part of, I just wing things, that's part of my personality. And sometimes I'm like, one of these days, if I could just get it organized, because sometimes I'll say things in a live video or a live recording. Well, it's not live, but you know what I mean. Well, you can't fix it. You already said it, and you already know you said it wrong. And, but whatever. It is what it is. This is the mess with the best. And don't worry about all the rest. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. We're going to get through this. No matter what you're going through, we can get through this. Let go of what's in the past, move forward, and peace to you.